Barak Yahab Alam. Shalom, Roger family. Welcome back to TRU-TALK. Uh, Egypt. Was Egypt a Caucasian nation or a Negro nation? Let me make it a little simple. Was ancient Egypt full of white people? Was that culture, all those mummies and statues and people drawn on the wall to the people that was drawing the people on the wall? Was all that created by white people? Or was it created by one would consider Black people? Now, one would think this should be an easy question to answer. But to my surprise, I found out that there are plenty of people that think Egypt is a Caucasian nation. And at first I was surprised, but then I was like, of course I shouldn't be. Because we know this program had been going on ever since we was brought onto this earth. We were just blessed to be woken up by the Most High to recognize the lies, to break out the matrix, as you say, or as we say. But so I may be playing every now and then just little old clips that y'all might have seen or heard that, drop little nuggets. Because our people need to know this. The Gentiles need to know this. We all need to know this. As many as people is waking up to the truth and knowing the truth, there's 10 more people ignorant and sleeping, don't know. And part of doing the work is actually doing the work. Sometimes you might have to bite pedal. Now we take our time, so there's a saying it's better to take your time and doing once than to speed up and keep happening doing it because you're just gonna waste time anyway. Keep happening to do it over and over and over. But when you work out in the field, tilling, a lot of times you gotta till that land more than once. You gotta go over it more than once. And you gotta, even when it comes to any type of work, you might have to backtrack and trim something up. And we know the devil don't sleep or he's busy. And he got many of people that work on his team. But guess what? The Most High don't sleep neither. And he got many of people the Most High got many of people that work for him also to do the good. And so we got to be just as consistent as they are. So on that day, it can be a job well done and many souls that should be saved, that need to be saved, won't be lost due on my behalf, but because we didn't tell them or because some information that we had and we just thought they knew it, we just didn't held back. So further ado, we're gonna hear this Caucasian man, this young Caucasian man, tell the truth basically. He know that ancient Egypt was Negroid, and he basically gonna call out Hollywood and the whitewashings that they've been doing that got people fooled to think otherwise. But let's see what he got to say, and I'll be back.
So I don't know if you guys noticed it, but there was something a bit jarring about it. And yeah, there's no black people in the entire movie. I don't know if anybody knows this, but Egypt is actually in Africa, and the old kingdom of Egypt was founded by Africans. You could have a look at sculptures, paintings, just geographically where the people came from. It was Africa. They were black people. If you think that this is a one-off problem in cinema, you'd be very wrong. Pretty much every movie set in Egypt or Palestine is completely whitewashed. There's no brown people, black people in any of these movies. There's too many to list. It's pretty up, to be honest. If you think that it's not a big deal and you think that it's normal for movies set in history to be whitewashed, I don't know. Just imagine what it would be like if you watched Thor and an entirely Asian cast. It'd be kind of interesting idea. Because again, there's no movies with Asian casts in English-speaking countries, but it wouldn't really make any sense. I think that this problem is actually a lot worse than just historical inaccuracy, though. If you look at what's been happening in the media recently with how black people have been treated by police and the media, there's been some debate whether or not they're actually misrepresented in media. And it's stuff like this that kind of cements the fact that they are, and that we are trying to erase history from other cultures and claim them as white history. I think that a lot of black children, white children, and adults are going to watch these movies and seriously think that now white people created Egypt, which is just not true. White people have a really nice history of our own. I don't think that we needed to take anyone else's history. Um, but above that, I think that currently in the state of America, and not just America, but worldwide, the way that we see black people is a group of people that have no real history that's substantial to the world, whereas they pretty much invented civilization, culture, medicine, paper, basic things that we take for granted, black inventions. But that doesn't matter because we've got a nice movie with some guys from Game of Thrones in it.
I'm sorry, I just had a laugh when you said, we got our own culture, and they show Starbucks, how Starbucks, or they show a statue, because let's be honest, Caucasian, they do got their own culture, but really they don't have a culture, if you want to call it that. They stole from everybody else. Their culture was cavemen. And yeah, that's your culture. Be proud of that. You was in the caves, you was a barbarian race. You know, got many documents that spoke that how just out of the blue, these barbarian people that wouldn't bathe and bath, and our people had to come and teach you how to bathe and bath. All of a sudden, got on this high trip and started uh, taking over kingdom. Started uh, having technology, and that's another story to get into. Like, well, how these Baptist people all of a sudden became smart and was able to take over kingdoms, and was able to have weapons that you know uh, other civilizations that was more advanced than they was at that time didn't have, like gunpowder and bullets. Uh, but like I said, that's just another story for another time. But that's just to get y'all to thinking. And but as we know it, our history has been hijacked and stolen. And many people, sadly, will look at these movies like the gods of Egypt. That's one of the gods are played by this white man. And they will think that Egypt was white. as all the movies that has been put out about Egypt and Palestine and even Iran and Iraq. They only show a certain type of people, but there are Negroes in Iraq. There are Negroes that's like in Iran that's been there just as long and even longer than the so-called pale or brown people that are there. And they are pushing the shadows. And they are the minority amongst the majority, just as the Negroes in America is the minority among the majority. The difference is the Most High has blessed Judah, and his brother, as is written in the prophecy, will praise him, and we would be praised, and we would be uh, the one bringing forth the law and holding the staff. So Judah play a major role for the other tribes. It's the chief tribe. So and we know Judah is spread to the four corners, but mostly most of the descendants that's uh, from the slave trade uh, are from the we strongly believe is from the line of Judah due to the uh, the expel of the Jews that came from the Spaniards. A lot of them was from the house of Judah, and a lot of them was put in slave trade, and that was mainly where the slaves was coming from those that was exiled from Spain and Portugal, and went to their little island in Africa, and from there was brought over here. But that's another story in history that maybe one day the Most High may allow for me to bring forth. But for sure, that was the house of Judah. So it's safe to say a lot of the slaves that's from the tribe of Judah ended up here in America. Um, but just keep your ears to good counsel. Don't listen to everything. Watch what you see and question everything. Real quick, I had this lady, I was talking to this lady, and everything I say, she'll question me about it. Well, how do you know that? Well, where do you get that from? And I wasn't mad at her. I said, you know what? I said, that's a good thing that you're doing that. I said, but the same way you're doing that to me, because, you may not like what I believe or think, whatever the case may be. The same way you do that to me, do that to everything. When the Jewish people over there say we are Jewish and we are the true people, for those that got a problem with us Negroes saying that we are the chosen and telling us to prove it, the only thing that I ask is keep the same energy. Ask them the same question you ask us. Ask them, how do you know? Prove it in the Bible. Well, ask the Jewish people, how do you know you're Jewish? What make you think you're Jewish? What does the Bible say? You got any proof? But to us, we got to prove it time and time over, structure, history, everything proven. And they ain't really got to say nothing, but we the people and people believe it. But that's a part of the strong delusion. But once again, this is just a little clip to show how even this Gentile, this white Caucasian, knows that Egypt was black and that how many people, because of Hollywood and the brainwashing of people through television and movies and, believe it or not, even school, that you'll have you thinking something completely wrong, even though the proof is in front of us. And we see the walls, we see the statues. It shouldn't be a debate. We shouldn't have to tell people that ancient Egypt, the people that we know as Egyptians today, are not the original people. but ancient Egypt was a Negro nation. And Egypt today, if we want to classify the Egyptians, a Egyptian still is a Negro person and not a Caucasian person. So stay wise, keep your eyes open. Remember, let Yah be true and every man be a liar. Till next time, Shalom.